Hey, welcome back. It's the North Florida Sports Network, a.k.a. a waste of my life.
Yeah,
As one commenter told me. That's all right. We press on.
Yeah.
It's transfer portal.
Like, bro, you're not telling me anything I don't know, buddy.
He's one of the biggest fans.
Oh, yeah, of course.
All right. We got some bunch of new transfer portal.
Yeah, I've been doing
combat,
work, man.
A lot of giving, a lot of taking.
Pulled up the U-Haul in Tuscaloosa, said, hey, man, just throw us anything.
Yeah, what you got? All right.
Yeah.
Depth. SEC depth.
Maybe something.
A lot to get to. We got a lot of transfers to go over. As Florida State has brought in a new class of transfers that will, and all of a sudden
continue to bring him in. Yeah.
Continue to bring them in.
Yeah.
They got about 8 guys as you see it right now, and they're already ranked like 7th.
Right.
According to 247.
Last couple days made a lot of movement. Jumped up into a top 10 transfer portal class.
Right.
Those rankings are even more subjective and
oh yeah.
Yeah. But again, you've added a lot.
Right.
You know, you started off with DJ, or it started off with Marvin Jones Jr.
Yeah.
Actually, but kept it going with DJ, and in these last few days, they've added a lot of nice pieces to the puzzle, man.
We're going to go over those pieces. We're going to go over all the transfer pieces. Stick around for the end of the show, Shuttle time. You should do that every show. It's the best part of the show. It's the reason why this show
exists.
Right. Stick around for Shuttle time. We're going to go over the national championship tonight. We're going to get the picks that you got to take to the bank. You don't want to miss it. But first, we got transfer portal. We're going to go over these transfers, the additions, and see where they'll fit on next year's roster. And we're also going to talk about the outgoing transfers and see if, which one outweighs the other,
Yeah. If you're actually
upset about any of them.
Yeah, or addition by subtraction,
right.
Or if you're just trying to break water and it's
it's a numbers game, man.
Tread water, break wind. That's what I always say.
Cut cheese.
Cut that cheese, man.
All right. Jeez. Okay, let's start. We got DJ, we got Marvin Jones Jr. Where did we pick up last? Did we kind of talked about Grady Kelly.
Yeah, we talked about Grady Kelly, defensive lineman from Colorado State. I don't think he had committed at that point. It was pretty shortly after that he committed. And these kids, I mean, they're pretty much just going on their visit, and if somebody can catch them coming out of the Moore Center and get an interview with them, they're just, oh, yeah, I'm coming here next year. It's that kind of thing. A lot less, announcing online and stuff like that.
Well, that's because they're men now. They played in the game.
They're ready to just get to it.
Ready to get to work.
Right. And we'll start with Grady Kelly. I think he's about 6'3", maybe the 290 range. He's got multiple years, defensive tackle, originally from Navarre, Florida. So he's an 850 kid. He's somewhat local. I think it's a really nice add. You're losing Malcolm Ray to Rutgers.
So what about that? Rank them. Who's better?
I would say right now the upside is on Grady Kelly.
Okay.
I mean, you've had your shot with Malcolm Ray. He's been here since 2019.
Yeah.
And he's been solid, the last few years. Took a little bit of a dip in production this year. So I think you're looking as an upgrade.
Okay.
Hopefully that's not too harsh of a word. I mean, you're not, it just you're not losing. You're not losing anything when you add a kid like Grady Kelly. And I look, assuming that Farmer and Jackson, are still here when the season begins. It's looking a little bit less of a disaster in the defensive tackle room right now. Even if that's your only guy that you add at that position.
Still looking at a lot of other guys, but let's go down. Florida State also got a commit from a guy. Let's do it in order. Was it Earl Little Jr. that in the secondary from Alabama? 2 guys from Alabama.
Right, we got a couple from Alabama. One that just happened today. Malik Benson, wide receiver. He's about 6'1", 6'2", 200 pounds, something like that. But the story with him is his speed. He's a kid that's a 10-4, 100 meter, which is very, like, you don't find kids over 6 feet, guys over 6 feet that can run that fast. You think about a little bit of a smaller version of DK Metcalf. But whatever reason, last year didn't really click for him at Alabama. We'll see. I mean, he was the number one JUCO wide receiver, number one JUCO player a year ago when he signed with Alabama. So there was definitely a lot of hope and optimism that he was going to be a big playmaker for him. So he's definitely got plus traits. The speed is intriguing, man. We're going to be missing that deep threat in terms of body. So you'd like a guy that can maybe just outrun everybody.
Okay.
So that's a solid pickup. Earl Little is a guy that you basically, he's another kid that you went back, just like with Marvin Jones Jr., you went back to the 2023 class and signed one of your top prospects.
There you go.
Essentially, he went to Alabama, lifted weights for a year, got a year in the Nick Saban DB room. So, I mean, that's a huge, huge pull. And the familiarity with him and Pat Surtain, that's only going to be, more productive. It's going to, conducive to him getting on the field early. So I think he's going to play a big part in the secondary next year. I was hoping maybe he would think about safety. I think it's going to be a straight corner for him. Another DB that they got, Devonte Brown from Miami. I think you may be looking at a position change for him in terms of moving him to safety. Struggled a little bit at corner for Miami this year when he did play. Got into the doghouse of the DB's coach down there. Interesting note about him is his younger brother was very highly rated defensive back recruit that signed with Miami last year. He was a freshman this past year. The spring portal will be interesting to watch with him. Those are two more kids that played for Pat Surtain in high school.
Oh wow!
So you're starting to see a theme here, and you're gonna have 4 or 5 different defensive backs that are from the Broward County area. Didn't directly play for Pat Surtain, but are from that area. Edwin Joseph, Conrad Hussey, both went to different high schools, but still in that same county. So I think you're going to see a real heavy influence of South Florida there in the secondary for these next couple seasons.
Yep. Speaking of the SEC, speaking of a guy that Florida State recruited last year, another wide receiver from LSU, Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, another wide receiver, another kid that is pure speed. That's a theme here with these offensive transfers at the skill positions. Redshirted at LSU. So again, it's a kid that, like the other two, Little and Marvin Jones Jr., you went back. Eligibility. Yeah, you went back to the 23 class and you signed one of your top wide receiver prospects. I think that's a definite, with him and Benson, it's a definite upgrade in terms of looking at what you lost, in terms of not so much Coleman and Wilson, but you lost Goldie Lawrence from the transfer portal. So you bring those in. I don't think there's going to be anything they can do to replace Keon Coleman,
right?
Or, and let short of another Biletnikoff finalist.
But talk about who was here,
right?
Goldie Lawrence,
right?
Of that position was left.
And I think you'll probably
guys that you wanted last year,
right? And you'll probably see at least one more wide receiver likely portal out when the spring hits, just due to a numbers game. But you take those transfer portal, you add them to the guys that you're already counting on next year.
Yeah.
And I think you're breaking even there.
Right.
It's just going to be a prove it year for a lot of guys at the wide receiver spot.
Right. You're also getting Kai Douglas' brother, Jalen Lucas from Indiana.
Right. It's kind of he's a
all guy, running back, wide receiver.
Yeah, Swiss Army knife guy.
Yeah.
Great kick returner.
That's something you need.
Play running back. He can do pretty much.
That's a good pickup. I like that. He's
got a lot of what his older brother has in his game. I think he's just a couple steps faster because he has home run hitter speed. And I wouldn't. It wouldn't shock me to see him line up in some running back packages and just try to get a big hitter with him.
So you get three weapons, 3 skill position.
Yeah, and speed is
speed.
the emphasis.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, so DJ going to have some weapons to go to, and then on the defensive side, you got a Grady Kelly, defensive lineman.
Yeah, and they're waiting on a couple guys,
right.
man. They're waiting on Big Toko from Oregon State.
Right.
I know he was going to visit USC, yesterday, last evening. Still no real word on that. Kid out of West Virginia who I can't attempt to say his name. I'm just going to butcher it, but he's another young kid that shows a lot of upside. Had 3 or 4 sacks in very limited time last year for West Virginia. That's another kid they're waiting on. So they're kind of wait and see with that defense, offensive line. I don't know that Ferguson from Alabama is gonna be a realistic possibility for Florida State. It seems like he's kind of just beginning the process. These kids, they have until the 15th theoretically, but if some of them already graduated, they may take a little longer. But yeah, offensive line, it looks like you may not even add in this spring. So we'll see. But again,
I think they got the guys to come back. That was first.
Yeah, you're getting buyers back. With what you lost, eventually you're going to have to see some of these young guys in high school, sink or swim. If they're looking to bring in another 4 along the offensive line, that signals big trouble in that regard, at least to me.
No, yeah, you got to see these guys that you've gotten.
Right. But again,
down under.
The spring portal is another opportunity. You may see some guys that, after they see them in the spring or kind of go through their little process, they might tell some guys that, hey, you find another home. I mean, you've seen a lot of turnover already with some of the underclassmen on the offensive line, guys like Quayshawn Sapp, Kanaya Charlton just medically retired.
Tafasi.
Yeah, Big Ayo. That's another defensive tackle guy that you lost. I mean, they had a lot of hopes for him. The word was he got passed pretty early by KJ Sampson, the freshman, in terms of getting reps and playing time. I think he just got squeezed out due to the numbers game, man.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it, man.
Yeah, and I would expect maybe 2 or 3 more transfers. I would like to see a linebacker somewhere.
Yeah,
there, but I don't know, man.
Linebacker.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Doesn't seem to be bearing a whole lot of success. All that portal this year, man.
For that position.
Yeah, for that position.
So they don't have their eyes on anyone.
Well, they did. They brought a couple guys in. A kid from Charlotte that was committed to UCF. I think Mikhail Green. I don't think that's going to really materialize. It's an eligibility kind of thing.
Right.
And the Q's guy, they brought in Stephon Thompson, likely going to follow the defensive coordinator out to Nebraska. So,
okay. Well,
again,
you're losing 2 linebackers.
Yeah, you got to add something, man.
Right, you're losing 2.
So
that's one position that needs to be addressed.
It does, and there's not a whole lot of, what seem like likely candidates to fix that issue right now. Maybe it's different when the spring hits and guys start really thinking about stuff. But I just, I think what you're going to likely be depending on is a lot of youth at that position next season. Might just have to start looking at ways to cover up for it. So,
okay. Well, playoffs are set. NFL playoffs.
Yeah, they are.
My Dolphins.
Maybe they just blew it. Yeah, they just want to get some barbecue in Kansas City, man.
13-degree weather. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the move. That's just the move, what they do. They injuries. Seems like every year. Is Tua the right guy? I mean,
who else would you have right now if you went for Tua?
Exactly.
Like who realistically, I can't even think that far back. Like who else was on the board at that point? Who did you pass
Herbert.
up? Oh, Herbert.
That's
the great debate.
Right. So I mean, or
Justin
is he
Herbert?
the guy? No, I don't even know if that's the debate. If you would say the people that hate on him,
or would rather have
people that think he's not the guy, but that's just the way it is.
But that's the guy they used to we could have had this guy. We could have had Herbert instead of Tua.
Well, yeah, of course.
Okay.
They were in the same draft.
Well, he has already gotten 2 coaches fired, though.
Oh, I know. Well, right now, neither of them have really done anything in the big games. So
yeah, I'd still probably lean to it, man.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, you can't fall in love.
They're
going to
be going to play the Chiefs.
Yeah, you're in
Browns,
the playoffs.
Texans, Ravens get the 1 seed. Your Niners got the 1 seed in the NFC. The Packers made it. The Saints, however, did not make it. They played the Falcons in a game that started at the same time.
That was basically the loser loses their job in that game.
Yeah, maybe both.
I mean, yeah, Arthur Smith was losing his job anyway,
right.
But I think, yeah.
Well, I don't really give a crap about that game. I just want to talk about the end of it.
Oh, it was amazing.
You saw the end. Mathau, Honey Badger gets a pick, and he should have made it a touchdown.
Yeah.
He stumbled out, but they get the ball at the 1 yard line or whatever. It's like over a minute left. And they called victory formation from the sideline, and the players didn't run victory formation.
The formation was victory formation.
Oh, they ran it out of that.
They just ran it out of that, yeah. It was beautiful.
To get Jamal Williams a touchdown.
Yeah, to get Jamal Williams a touchdown who had not scored all season after having a career season last year with the Detroit Lions.
Oh, man, that was funny.
Well, I apologize to DA because the play was victory.
I would love to hear
to
that
DA
apology.
that it was a team decision. And I think when you have a team morale, and I asked the guys, I said, guys, like, what do you want to do? We know how much Jamal means to this team, and I understood from DA's perspective. So I give him that. Yeah, but DA didn't condone that at all. You know, he didn't. However, we decided.
However, I don't give a shit because I'm leaving.
Man, we got an interception to the 1 yard line. You know, like. So
however, DA, no one gives a shit what DA says.
Right.
You know, so,
he was defensive coordinator when I got here. I didn't even know his name for the first 2 years I was here. That's why I call him DA.
However, when you return the ball to the 1 yard line and you have that opportunity, we just had that opportunity and we decided.
Do you think it's the kind of thing though that is forgotten fairly quickly, or you know what I mean?
I think it should be forgotten, especially when the score is already 41-17. So I don't know how much worse it can get. But I got a ton of respect for Arthur Smith and the coach that he is.
No, you don't.
Do some incredible things.
It's good of him to say that, but
disrespect. That was not my intention. My intention was to lead the team that I've been with the entire year.
If he knows him, then he's got respect. He's not trying to disrespect.
It's the same thing as like
blood, sweat, and tears.
A bat flip
every game in the end zone.
Yeah,
and,
it really is. It's not trying to disrespect.
No, it's more about getting your guy. No, it's not even about that. It's getting your guy a touchdown,
man. It's
It's not about regrets.
It's not about regret.
Else. It's about us as a team making a collective decision.
There you go. Collective decision.
If anything, it's Dennis.
Because that was not his call.
Cut him, whatever.
Yeah.
His season's over.
Yeah.
Free agent.
What decision are you talking about?
At the end.
Okay. At the end, what decision?
To go for the touchdown.
To go for the touchdown.
Was that something decided on the sideline after the pick, or did you wait till you got out there to do it?
We decided on the field as a team. I mean, we don't regret. Do we regret for scoring 41 points on them? Do you think we regret that?
Well, you do have to play these guys twice a year. That's all I'm saying.
We already played them twice.
I know, but I'm talking about if you know somebody's got to play these guys twice a year. That's all.
How do you feel about it? Tell me how you feel about it.
Not me, how you feel.
Why don't you feel good about it?
Because you got to play these guys twice a year.
But what about it makes you not feel good about it?
That's what kills me. Is like, dude, you think they're not out here trying to kill me every game?
Right.
Well, I'm just telling
The
you
NFL.
as I can.
Oh no, they're gonna get me.
Respectfully as you could, and I'm telling you as respectfully as I can that I respectfully disagree with you. That's all.
You disagree with me or the entire team?
Whoever made that decision.
So you disagree with the entire team?
Thank you.
I'm just being,
No, I'm just being honest.
So
man.
you get him a
To
show.
do too. And that's what I am doing.
He needs that reality show.
Well,
Reality
because
show.
the play was victory.
He needs a reality show, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to discuss there. And I think we pretty much said what we needed to say there.
Yeah.
You know, that was hilarious.
It's great.
Great stuff. Love Jameis.
Love you, James.
I mean, the argument, I guess, on the other side is
cares.
It's
At
ridiculous.
this point, who cares?
Nobody would have.
All right, they did it to get their guy a touchdown.
Right.
You know?
Well, here come the victors. Michigan is your national champion.
Wasn't
you
even
were
a
right,
game, man.
No, you were right.
It was a game. Washington's defense.
They could have done something.
Washington's defense did what they could.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what lost the game for Washington was Michael Penix.
Yeah.
It was too big for him.
He missed.
There were too many throws that he missed. Not even tough throws. He missed wide open guys.
Yeah.
Sucks.
They had their shot.
Feel bad for the kid. Sucks.
But
it is what it is.
Michigan's your champion.
Yeah, you're champion.
Yeah. All right, well, let's just ask you, since we're right here at North Florida Sports Network, a full strength Florida State defense.
I just would have liked to see it.
Yeah.
I would have liked the opportunity to see the defensive line against that offensive line.
Yeah. Indiana.
I'm not sure that Alabama's defensive line is as deep as Florida State's. So I think that it would have been kind of similar to that. And I'll be honest with you, nobody at the skill positions in terms of the wide receivers really, really scare me a ton in terms of Florida State's defense. I would have liked to see it. Michigan's defense is really good.
Yeah.
Their defensive line would have been a problem.
Right.
They got good corners.
It would have been an ugly game.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what you wanted. You got the message.
Well, what I think is you know,
it doesn't mean they didn't have a chance to win the game.
Right. And you know,
and if I'm a Georgia fan,
I understand. Yeah, if I'm a Georgia fan, I'm pretty pissed off that we lost that game. Now
they should have been they were the best one-loss team, even though they beat.
Right.
They were beaten by Alabama.
My biggest takeaway from this playoff is that Texas, Washington, neither one of you guys should have been an automatic lock for the playoff like you were.
Well, yeah.
I think that's
the playoff.
Clear. I think it's clear.
Took a hit, and would have Michigan probably, it's a different story if there's 12 teams. But
right, if there's 12 teams,
Harbaugh got it in, bro.
Yeah, he did.
And then he's out, man.
He's out. He got his title. He's like, yeah,
He is out of there.
I don't care what anybody says about it. You cheated. You did this. Whatever.
I'm on to the NFL trying to get that one.
Yeah. I beat Nick Saban.
Yep.
I won the title. I'm going to the NFL. I'm going to coach the Chargers. I'm going to live in L.A. I'm going to trade the khaki pants in for some skinny jeans and whatever's popping out there in Hollywood.
Yep. Milk steak.
Nah,
he's not going to change. That was a classic Harbaugh, Michigan. He wouldn't have won it any other way.
He's going to be eating that quinoa.
He ran the ball.
Quinoa burgers.
Oh, he's going to go L.A.?
Yeah. Quinoa burgers.
He's going to go to the Chargers.
My wife turned me on to him. I can't eat red meat anymore.
No more milk steak.
No more milk steak. It's
I actually learned that we're not supposed to be drinking cow milk.
Yeah. It's wheatgrass and quinoa burgers, man. That's him. That's what he's getting into. Why not? He just won the title.
Yeah.
He won their
National
invitational.
champions, man. First time since before the BCS, 97, where they split it.
Before that, it was who knows when they won it the last time.
Somebody was going to get a reunion.
Yeah, this is big for them because it's undisputed and it's been since black and white days.
Yep.
Old pictures.
Undisputed national champions, well deserved. Well deserved by Michigan.
I guess.
I mean, it's not their fault. I know you're never going to get over it. I know that.
No, man.
But it's not Michigan's fault. They even told you when they reacted to the game.
Yeah.
Shit, we were surprised.
Yeah.
That FSU didn't make it.
Right. And I guess they figured
they're
just going to pick teams to put in there. We figured Georgia might be in there too.
Well, they just it was a really bad year to have just 4 teams.
I guess.
But you should have went with the undefeated teams. Just out of respect to your future investment, Like you,
or just
want to like not make
or
the,
you know,
just
just maybe compared the undefeated teams is what I'm looking at now. Is like, hey, why aren't we looking
impact
at
players?
Why are we looking at Washington
impact players
and
you
Florida
talk
State
about draft eligible players and what players can impact the game and what are the chances that
it all came down to quarterbacks. I fully believe that Tate Rodemaker, you know, decision to leave, you know, not with, you know, that doesn't matter
the
at
whole
all.
last month.
Right.
Was all based on a decision.
I don't think he would have done any worse against, say, a Texas or Michigan defense.
He wouldn't have transferred yet.
Right.
He might have after a loss in a playoff, maybe.
Right.
But if he would have had the chance, he wouldn't have transferred when he did.
But
he would have played in the game.
The big thing was, you know, they don't have their quarterback.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is tonight, we saw out of Washington's quarterback performance.
Right.
Like,
and then what you saw out of Michigan, and I know he had J.J. McCarthy played great. I mean, not really. He only had like 6 completions. He made the plays when he needed to, but doesn't mean that the guy behind him couldn't have done that.
Yeah, they dominated up front.
Yes, exactly. They were the team they were because of way more than J.J. McCarthy.
Right. And this whole narrative that we had to have Jordan Travis.
Washington tonight had chances and didn't convert them because of Penix.
Yeah, the QB
missed the throws. The guys were open. I mean, they were on the wrong shoulder here.
And
he was a little bit nervous.
There's some throws that he can make, and there's just some throws that he can't. That's you know.
Right.
I know that a bunch of people have talked about him in the first round. I guess, man, people need quarterbacks.
Well,
I don't see him. I don't know, man.
Well, that's not going to hurt. That's definitely going to hurt him tonight.
Like the windows only get tighter.
Right. The NFL, the game's only going to get bigger.
Only moves faster. You don't get time to set your feet and just rear back and throw it. Like I don't know, man.
Well, we know that Michigan's the champ.
Yeah. Biggest difference was the lines. Their offensive and defensive line just held up throughout. That's the biggest matchup I wanted to see, man, is our defensive line against some of these big, stout offensive lines, dude.
They broke up an all-time D-line, man.
I'm going to say it right now. They didn't want to see any of Michigan City, Indiana. Fisky.
It might have been a huge,
Dude, that's a game that's tailor-made for him. And we would have played Michigan first. They probably would have put Florida State. Whatever, man.
It doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. Like you earn the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
And you lose all the games.
But I do think that like everybody that's been bitching for a whole month about, you know, Alabama and maybe they just got in because they blah blah, or maybe Texas. I think we need to start looking at Washington as well. It's just like, why were they automatically
Fox?
Yeah. Just because they're undefeated? We were undefeated. They got nothing.
This more and more seems like a battle of the TV Titans.
Yeah, really does.
A made-for-TV show, man. And they need to have rules. They need a commissioner. It's clear as day. You can like or hate Roger Goodell. There's a lot of things to hate.
Right, but he serves a purpose.
Yes.
He serves a purpose.
We are seeing what that purpose is.
Well, in the NFL,
you look at the college game now with NIL.
Well, that's
pretty much making it where people get paid with no commissioner. Now you have the special interest from all the leagues and all the TV deals running the show here and pretty much dictating where the money goes.
That's where there's a little bit different is the networks are dipping in and trying to one up in the NFL, man. It's all one league.
Yes. By the way, yes.
Just one product.
You see, like the playoffs, right? It's probably a war to see who gets the rights to them.
The word is consolidation.
Why not transfer them around? Fox gets one, ESPN gets one, and then the titles switched around to the networks, NBC, Fox. Because what? No, we wanted to control it to get it's a show. It's Dancing with the Stars. That was the end of the season. Congratulations to Milk Steak, man.
Hey, and he couldn't win a Super Bowl.
Cheaters never prosper. They just won a title, man.
Hey, cheaters win a title every year.
It's hoop season. We'll react to that next, and we'll talk to you next time.
Big game tomorrow. Woo!
On the North Florida Sports Network.
We had to go. Our ride was here. We got a shuttle to our